is Red Podcast, episode number 216. I'm talking about one of the biggest lies in online promotion, like fake news. It gets spread everywhere. Are you doing it? Let's find out.
This is the Red Podcast, the marketing podcast for influencers. Rise above the noise. Expand your audience. Deliver impact. Here's your host, David Hooper.
I used to own a big music conference. Not like a festival, but something where bands would come and showcase, hope to get industry attention, and go on to bigger things. Every year, we would have between 350 and 450 acts. This event was 1 week long. It was a huge deal to prepare for. It took us 51 weeks out of the year to prepare for it. We did the event for 1 year. When it ended, we'd take a day off, and the next day, we were working on the new year. 1 year, this band played, I'm going to call them kind of a hillbilly punk band. If you can imagine Sex Pistols, if they had a banjo, that was these guys. A couple cowgirl types on violin, distorted guitar, big drums, big bass, and the name of this band was Uncle F***er. Kind of that punk rock metal cowboy hat tattoo vibe. Totally dressed the part, totally lived the part. And as you can imagine, when you come to an event, it's a week long. There are 350, 450 other acts that you've got to compete against. That takes a lot. These guys showed up with 10,000 flyers. They covered the city with these flyers. I didn't think much of it. We have hundreds of bands there. They're all vying for attention. And I'm running the event during the day. This is where the industry people will come out to a big hotel. We took over the entire hotel, and they're talking about industry stuff, radio promotion, giving bands advice on how to get record deals, get attention, that kind of thing. And the hotel manager runs up to me, and he says, "You've got a problem." Thousands of people have come to town for this event, and there are a lot of problems when you get that many people together, especially when you've got a lot of musicians and industry people that think it's a big vacation. They're loud, they're crazy. Sometimes there's drinking and drugs involved. The problem was with Uncle F***er. They had taken some of those 10,000 flyers, and at the hotel, they'd put them under every single door. Hundreds and hundreds of rooms knew about this band's gig. Not uncommon. That happens from time to time. The issue was that while the hotel had mostly musicians staying there, there were a few rooms of Southern Baptists. We are right next to the Southern Baptist Convention. This is Nashville, man. The buckle of the Bible Belt. All these Southern Baptists in the hotel, in addition to the musicians, they weren't having it. They were a little bit offended by a band called Uncle F***er. Here's the funny part. As this was happening, when the hotel manager approached me, I'd been talking to a woman. He tells me what's going on. He leaves. And she said, "Yeah, those guys got me twice in 2 areas of town. They had covered the entire town. Not only were they sticking flyers under hotel doors, they were also flyering cars. They got in her car the previous night on the other side of town. She was staying at a different hotel, and they'd hit that hotel as well." The question is, did this promotion work? And the real question for you is, would this kind of promotion work for you? That's what I'm talking about on this episode. This is the Red Podcast, the podcast for influencers. If you're looking to have greater influence, you're in the right place. If you're a blogger, podcaster, speaker, marketer, nonfiction author who wants to sell more books, an entrepreneur with a message to spread, this is the podcast for you. I'm going to show you how to take your message, spread it, and make a name for yourself. I'm also going to show you how to make money while doing it. I'll talk about things like book publishing, podcasting, speaking, and other marketing elements of your business that you must master to grow and engage your audience. That's what RED stands for: reach, expand, and develop your audience. So here's why I bring up this story. Everywhere I go, people are giving me advice to be everywhere. And that's what being everywhere looks like. Maybe your being everywhere is a little bit different. Maybe it's online. Maybe it's in a different industry. But being everywhere, more or less, is going to the other side of town, hitting cars. It's hitting the hotel you're staying at. It's hitting the hotel next door. And like dolphins in a tuna net, it's hitting some Southern Baptists when Southern Baptists are the last people that are going to come to your show. I've heard this be everywhere advice given to people who want to be on podcasts, who want to blog, who want to dominate social media. And I'm here to tell you that this advice is bullshit. Now, why is that? I'm going to take it back to the Uncle F***er example. After hearing the story from the woman I was talking to about how they had gotten her twice, after talking to the hotel manager, I was curious. I knew about the 10,000 flyers. I wanted to see if it was going to work for them. So I went to their gig. And it was packed. Medium-sized club, probably 500 people there. So they had gotten 500 people to their gig. But here's the thing. As far as I know, none of those people in the audience was a Southern Baptist. And, maybe more importantly to the band, none of the people in the audience, as far as I know, were record label people. That was the overall goal of this conference. We had dozens and dozens of bands, 350 to 450 bands each year, come to town in hope of getting record label attention. With that said, that may not have been the goal of this act. Maybe they wanted a general audience of a lot of people. In that case, they succeeded. You just need 500 people in a room. They got it. I don't know if the flyers had everything to do with that, but they probably helped. Maybe they just wanted an ego stroke. They wanted to go out, flyer every car in town, drive back, and see all these flyers on windshields. Maybe they wanted to put flyers under every hotel door, hang out in the hotel lobby, and wait as angry Southern Baptists came down to complain. I don't know. Maybe they wanted the reputation of being hard workers. It's hard to say. But the bottom line is that is what being everywhere gets you. Gets you lots of people who know who you are at best, but won't connect with you. And think about what it takes to do this, whatever your equivalent of 10,000 flyers is. 100 podcast interviews, emailing thousands of people who didn't sign up for your mailing list, sending out hundreds and hundreds of books, hoping that that one book is going to reach that one person who can help you. Quick side note, my town has been flyered by a book called The Great Controversy. In the last couple of weeks, everybody in town has gotten a copy of this book. Put out by the Seventh-day Adventist. People are talking about it. Hey, have you seen this Great Controversy book? Have you seen the Great Controversy book? I'm so pissed people are just putting this in my mailbox. It's not just random people putting it in your mailbox. They're putting stamps on these books, and postmen are putting them in your mailbox. How much does that cost? Thousands and thousands of books. And how effective is that? That is what being everywhere looks like. And the big lie that we tell ourselves is this is promotion, or people are talking about us. Does that matter? In the music business, we used to call that the shotgun promotion. Now, I don't know if you're like me, you're a Southerner, you grew up around a lot of guns. Shotgun, you don't aim it, you just point it. And a shotgun doesn't shoot out one bullet. A shotgun shell, which you load the shotgun with, contains hundreds and hundreds of little pellets. So that's what this is. It's like a shotgun. Sending out books to random people. For you, maybe it's adding people on Facebook, adding people to your mailing list, people you don't know. Just have the ego stroke of having 5,000 Facebook friends. What does that mean? What does that mean? Nothing. Here's the solution. It is much better to go where the people that you want are. Let me give you another music business story. It's kind of a joke among musicians. You're booking a show. Club owner wants to know what kind of promotion that you're doing. And you could be like Uncle F***er. You could say, we've got 10,000 flyers that we put out before every show. And that guy was so great. Great, that'll work. Because he doesn't care. 500 people in his club, they're buying beer. He doesn't care who they are. Let's say you don't have enough money for 10,000 flyers, though. You had 10 flyers. Where would you put those flyers? In between the club and the club owner's car. That's it. 10 flyers, you're going to have that same effect. This one guy who's important to you is going to feel like you're everywhere. And that's what you want to do with your promotion. Where are the people that you want to get to hanging out? How can I make a real connection with these people? Flyers not going to do it. Getting on the phone will do it, though. Meeting for coffee, meeting for beer, Meeting in person, that will do it. Uncle F***er had 500 people in the club that night. Now, it's been a few years since this has happened. Hadn't kept up with the band, just looked them up. And as far as I know, they're not around anymore. They would have been much better off at an industry conference getting just 5 people at the show if they were the right people. You've seen the show called Shark Tank? I want you to take away the televised audience for a minute. Millions of people have seen this show, but the really important ones, they're on the stage with you, the 5 sharks. 5 people is all you need to make a deal work. And that's my challenge for you, finding those 5 people. Who are the top 5 people who will make the difference for you and your business? Focus on them. Forget being everywhere. Focus on the 5 people that you need to get in touch with. Focus on the 5 people that are going to do something for you. Focus on the 5 people who can reach all those people that you're trying to reach. There's a guy who's been great at this, just came out with a new book this week. Tim Ferriss, Wired Magazine, 2008, called him the greatest self-promoter of all time. I'd probably argue that it's P.T. Barnum. Maybe in recent years, Donald Trump. But Tim Ferriss, he's certainly up there. He's got a brand new book. It's called Tools of Titans. I've got a copy of it in my hand. On the next episode, I'll be reviewing that book, talking about what I think Tim Ferriss is doing right, the good, bad, and ugly, at least as I see it, of Tim Ferriss, what you can learn from him. If you got questions or comments, reach out to me at David Hooper on Twitter is the way to do it. And to make sure you don't miss the Tim Ferriss episode or any other episode, go subscribe to Red Podcast. Redpodcast.com is how to do that. There are buttons on the site. Just one click is all it takes to make sure you never miss an episode. It doesn't matter if you use an iPhone, Android, you listen on the web, one click. You will never miss an episode of Red Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you have any comments, you've got questions, reach out to me at David Hooper. Love to hear from you. I'll see you on the next episode of Red Podcast.
You've been listening to Red Podcast, the marketing podcast for influencers. Never miss an episode. Subscribe now with your iPhone, Android, or via RSS at redpodcast.com.
Hey, David here. You know, sometimes people ask me, David, are you really from the South? Are you really from Nashville? You don't have an accent. Check this out. Shoots out hundreds and hundreds of little pellets in the direction. Hundreds and hundreds. Sometimes it comes out. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next episode.